Rejection. It's one of the most painful emotions a man can feel. That sinking feeling in your gut when she pulls away, stops texting, loses interest. It feels like the ground shifts beneath your feet. You start questioning everything, your worth, your value, your masculinity. And worst of all, you feel powerless. But what if I told you that rejection doesn't have to be the end? What if it could be the beginning of something far greater, a transformation? You see, most men take rejection personally. They see it as proof that they're not good enough. But that's a lie. Rejection is not a verdict. It's not a final judgment on who you are. In fact, in the eyes of a Stoic like Marcus Aurelius, rejection is a teacher, it's a challenge, and if you learn to face it the right way, it can become your greatest advantage. Because here's the truth. Every time you're rejected, the world is handing you a mirror. And what you do with that reflection determines everything. This video is not about how to win her back. It's not about manipulating someone into choosing you. It's about turning the tables on rejection itself, using Stoic principles to regain your power, rebuild your confidence, and come out stronger than ever. So if you've ever been ghosted, friend-zoned, cheated on, or just plain overlooked, this video is for you. Let's dive into the first Stoic lesson on how to turn rejection into raw, unstoppable strength. 1. Rejection is a mirror, not a verdict. Rejection hurts. Let's be honest about that. No matter how confident you are, being pushed away, especially by someone you cared about, cuts deep. But if we're thinking like Stoics, we don't just feel the pain and react. We pause, we look inward, and we ask, why does this hurt me so much? This is where Marcus Aurelius gives us the first key insight. You have power over your mind, not outside events. In other words, the pain of rejection isn't caused by the event itself. It's caused by our interpretation of it. When a woman loses interest, many men immediately think, I wasn't good enough. That's ego, that's attachment. That's the need for external validation creeping in. But a Stoic flips that script. He sees rejection not as a punishment, but as a reflection, a chance to observe his own emotional responses. What does this rejection reveal about me? Am I too attached to her approval? Was I seeking my worth in her validation? If so, then thank God she walked away, because now I can see the truth. Rejection, when viewed correctly, becomes a diagnostic tool. It exposes your emotional dependencies. It reveals where you're giving away your power. And the moment you become aware of that is the moment you begin to take it back. So instead of chasing her, instead of trying to fix the situation or explain yourself, step back, look in the mirror, use the moment, let it teach you. Because that's what Stoicism is all about, not avoiding pain, but transforming it into wisdom. 2. Let go of what you can't control. Here's one of the core principles of Stoicism. Focus only on what is within your control. Everything else, let it go. Most men spiral after rejection because they obsess over questions they'll never get answers to. Why did she change? What did I do wrong? Is she talking to someone else? These questions will drive you insane because they keep your focus outside yourself, where you have zero power. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You can't control whether she texts you back. You can't control if she feels the same way. But you can control how you respond. You can choose to carry yourself with discipline, to stay calm under pressure, and to stop seeking closure from people who already made a decision. Rejection becomes powerful when you stop reacting to it emotionally and start responding to it rationally. Detach. Detachment is not apathy, it's maturity. It's recognizing that your peace of mind is more valuable than someone else's opinion of you. So instead of chasing, begging, or breaking down, breathe. Step back. Remind yourself, her actions are not mine to control. My response? That's where my power lives. Let go of the outcome. You don't need it to become the man you're meant to be. 3. You were never owed her love. This one stings, but it's crucial. You were never entitled to her love, her time, or her attention. No matter how much effort you put in, no matter how nice, supportive, or loyal you were. That may sound harsh, but it's actually freeing. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." People change. Feelings fade. That doesn't make her evil, it just makes her human. So why do we feel so betrayed when someone pulls away? It's because we secretly believe we deserve something in return for our love. That mindset creates pain. Expectation leads to disappointment. But when you adopt the Stoic mindset, you give without attachment, you love without demand, and you understand that affection is a gift, not a guarantee. So if she rejected you, good. That was her choice. And in Stoic philosophy, we don't fight reality, we flow with it. Fighting it only leads to suffering. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to win her back. You need to internalize this truth. She was free to choose, and so are you. You're free to choose how you respond, free to walk away with dignity, free to rebuild stronger boundaries, and most importantly, you're free to stop giving your energy to people who no longer value it. That's real power, quiet power, Stoic power. 4. What hurts today strengthens you tomorrow. Pain is a forge, and rejection is one of the most intense emotional furnaces a man can go through. But in the heat of that pain is where you're reshaped. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the thing that hurts you can also build you. Think about it. Rejection forces you to look at yourself, to confront your insecurities, to let go of illusions. And if you face it head-on, it can refine your character in ways that comfort never could. Comfort breeds softness. Pain builds resilience. The man who has been humbled, who has tasted heartbreak, and who still chooses to rise, that's a man who can't be shaken. Every sleepless night, every tear you didn't show, every moment you felt unworthy, it all becomes fuel. But only if you use it. Don't suppress it. Don't numb it. Sit with it. Learn from it. Let it carve depth into your spirit. This is how Stoicism transforms men, not by avoiding pain, but by using it, by seeing suffering as the cost of evolution. So the next time you feel that sting of rejection, remind yourself, this is the way forward. This is the resistance that will strengthen me. And one day you'll look back and realize you didn't just survive it, you were rebuilt by it. 5. Rejection reveals your true identity. When things are going well, it's easy to feel confident. When she's into you, validating you, texting you every morning, you feel like a king. But what happens when that attention disappears? That's when your real identity is revealed. Marcus Aurelius once asked, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Rejection strips away the surface-level validation, and in that silence, in that emptiness, you discover who you really are without applause, approval, or affection. Are you still a man of value when nobody is watching? Can you hold your head high when the world doesn't? That's the test. Rejection is a brutal reset, but it's also a sacred opportunity, because in that loneliness you get to meet yourself, without the mask, without the performance. You see what parts of you were dependent on someone else. You see where your sense of worth came from, and more importantly, you get to rebuild it from the inside out. A man who knows who he is, even after being rejected, is unshakable. He's not swayed by praise or criticism. He doesn't chase attention because he doesn't need it. He's not cold, he's calm, he's not distant, he's grounded. And when he enters a relationship again, it's from a place of strength, not need. That's what rejection reveals, your truest self. And if you take that seriously, it can lead to the most powerful version of you. 6. Pulling back creates respect. One of the most counterintuitive truths in dating and life. When you pull back, people pay attention, especially after rejection. Most men do the opposite. They chase, they try to explain, they want closure. But that desperation kills respect. It sends a loud message. I need you more than I value myself. Marcus Aurelius would say, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. And a good man doesn't beg. He doesn't need to prove anything. He simply pulls back, not out of pride, but out of principle. Your absence speaks louder than your words. When you disappear from someone's life with dignity, not anger, not drama, just quiet self-respect, they feel it. This is not about manipulation. This is about creating space. And in that space, 3 things happen. You give her the freedom to reflect. You give yourself the clarity to heal. You create the possibility of respect being rebuilt. Remember, people value what they fear losing. And if you're always available, always chasing, always forgiving, you become predictable. And predictability kills attraction. Pulling back resets the dynamic. It reminds her, and more importantly you, that you are the prize, that your attention is sacred, that your energy is not to be wasted. So when rejection hits, don't panic, don't text her paragraphs, don't beg for explanations. Stand still, pull back, reclaim your power, and let the silence do what your words never could. 7. Don't suppress it, transmute it. Rejection brings pain, and pain brings emotion, anger, sadness, confusion, even shame. Most men try to suppress those feelings. They distract themselves, jump into rebounds, or pretend they're unbothered. But suppression is weakness in disguise. Marcus Aurelius taught, if it is endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. That doesn't mean you bury the pain. It means you face it, feel it, and transform it. That's called transmutation. Transmuting pain means using it as fuel. It means going to the gym when you feel rejected. Building your business. Leveling up your body, your mind, your mission. Turning silence into strength. Turning heartbreak into hunger. Think of every great man you admire. Almost all of them were forged through pain, rejection, betrayal, loss. But instead of letting it break them, they used it to become someone unstoppable. You have that same choice. Cry if you need to, scream if you must. But don't stay there. Don't wallow. Use every ounce of that pain to fuel your transformation. Start journaling. Meditate. Read. Lift. Build. Work in silence. And let the pain become the spark that sets your purpose on fire. You don't need revenge. You don't need her to see you win. You just need to rise. Because the strongest men aren't the ones who avoid rejection. They're the ones who alchemize it into power. 8. Rejection builds emotional resilience. Every time you face rejection and survive it, whether from a date, a job, or a friend, you build emotional calluses. Much like a warrior builds strength through hardship, you build resilience by standing up after each fall. Rejection hurts, but it also teaches you that pain is not permanent. As the Stoics believed, suffering is not in the event, but in your judgment of it. When you stop fearing rejection, it loses its control over you. That's when you become dangerous, in the best way. You become someone who can walk into any situation and hold your ground because your self-worth is no longer up for negotiation. 9. Use rejection to sharpen your standards. Sometimes rejection isn't a setback, it's a signal. It's telling you that a certain situation, person, or opportunity wasn't aligned with your higher self. Instead of chasing what rejected you, step back and reassess. Were you aiming too low? Were you seeking validation from the wrong source? Use rejection to refine your standards. Start asking, does this person or opportunity meet my criteria? That shift from needing to be chosen to doing the choosing is how you reclaim your power and stop compromising your value. 10. Stay rooted in your core values. Rejection often tempts people to abandon their principles in an attempt to fit in or be accepted. But Stoic wisdom reminds us that we must never trade our character for temporary approval. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Stick to your values." If you got rejected for staying true to who you are, you didn't lose anything. You protected your integrity, and that's worth more than fitting in. 11. Stop seeking closure from others. One of the biggest traps after rejection is obsessing over why, wanting answers, needing closure. But the Stoics would remind you, you're not entitled to explanations from others. Closure is something you give yourself. The moment you stop chasing explanations and start creating meaning for yourself, you take back control. Rejection becomes an event, not a definition. You move forward not because you got answers, but because you no longer need them. 12. Focus on what you can control. You can't control whether someone likes you. You can't control whether an employer calls back. But you can control how you respond, how you carry yourself, and how you prepare for the next opportunity. The Stoic principle of dichotomy of control is a game changer. It teaches you to pour all your energy into the areas within your power and release attachment to the rest. That mental shift alone can turn any rejection into momentum. 13. Channel your energy into purpose. Rejection can leave a void, but nature abhors a vacuum. So fill that space with purpose. Pour your energy into building something meaningful, your body, your craft, your vision. The more mission-driven you become, the less rejection matters. You stop asking, why don't they want me? And start focusing on, how can I become undeniable? Purpose gives you something rejection can't touch: direction. 14. Cultivate inner stillness. In a world flooded with distractions and comparison, rejection can stir up anxiety, self-doubt, and mental chaos. But Stoicism teaches the power of stillness, of returning to your center. Take time each day to be alone with your thoughts, reflect, journal, or meditate. This isn't weakness, it's strategy. Inner stillness allows you to respond instead of react. When rejection strikes, you'll be able to say, this didn't shake me because I'm grounded in something deeper than approval. 15. Learn to detach from the outcome. One of the hardest but most liberating Stoic practices is detachment. Not apathy, but healthy detachment. You give your best effort, show up with authenticity, but let go of the need to control the outcome. When you detach from the results, rejection no longer threatens your identity. Whether they say yes or no, you remain whole. That's real freedom. That's how you win, regardless of how things turn out. Rejection is never easy, but it doesn't have to be devastating. If you learn to see it not as a verdict, but as a redirection, an opportunity to grow, refine your values, and elevate your purpose, you'll find that rejection was never your enemy. It was your teacher. Every no is carving the path toward your strongest, most grounded self. So the next time rejection comes knocking, Don't shrink. Stand taller. Because this isn't the end, it's the beginning of your power.